In this video, I will be going over the building foundation and the plumbing in the same video because the house is only 434 square feet. So let's go ahead and get started with the forms, which will be 2 by 12, and the footings will be 12 inches wide and 12 inches deep. Another view of it there. And these stakes, even though you can't see any nails, I will be providing you with pictures along the way to provide you with a better idea of how the stakes will be fastened to the forms, how the rebar might be tied, and how some of the plumbing might need to be wrapped when it's going through the concrete. And in case you haven't figured it out by now, I'm not going to be providing you with step-by-step directions on how to build this. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what it might look like if you were going to attempt to do this on your own. And as always, for those of you who are familiar with my videos, feel free to leave any questions you might have in the comment area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the plumbing now. I did a video about another house that had plumbing in it, and I didn't want to do the same thing, so I kind of changed things up here. And I ran the pipe straight, but at a 22-degree angle. And of course, the fittings will tie in here with a 22-degree fitting over here. But I wanted to be able to put a clean out at one end to where you could just go through a straight pipe if you needed to. And of course, you can put a clean out at this end also. And of course, to provide you with a different method, something you can think about, even if you're going to be building a different type of house. So let's go ahead and go through the plumbing here. So here we have a 22-degree fitting, a Y with a 2-inch coming off of it, a 45 and then a 22, 22 and a half, or a 1/16 bend. And of course, this is 3-inch dropping down to a 2-inch. So we have a 2-inch, I should say, dropping into a 3-inch. And now let's go to the other section here. And of course, this is going to be for the laundry, or I should say the wash machine. It's going to be a 2-inch. And these two pipes will be connected with a long 90-degree sweep. And I like to use the long sweeps underneath the building foundation for everything that has a 90-degree angle. And then we are going to reduce down to 1.5 inches. So for our kitchen sink, we're going to have 1.5 inch pipe drop into a 2-inch pipe. And this will be a combo fitting here. Now let's go over to the kitchen sink area. And we are going to 45 off of this to a 90 and up. Now let's pan out. And in case you're wondering why I came into here instead of just coming over to here, it's a personal preference. You can do what you want, but sometimes if I get too close to here, this section right here just caves in. So something to think about. You might want to come in a little bit further to reduce the possibility of this thing right here just kind of caving into the footing. And of course, I did the same thing over here. Now let's go ahead and pan out again so that I can provide you with another option. This pipe right here could have just went straight into here also. And of course, it would have just connected with something like this where we have a Y fitting with a 45-degree intersecting point. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our bathroom. First up on the list is our toilet, and then we have another combo that comes off to a 90 and then to a santee and then over to our bathtub. So this pipe will pick up our bathtub. And then I left all of this a 2-inch right here because you're supposed to have a vent for every fixture. And if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me on that. And if you are going to correct me, please provide us with the building code reference number and even the page number if you have it. And of course, if you did need to add another vent, you could simply add it right here and then come into the wall. So it would be something that would look like this, just be a little bit shorter. But I don't think we're going to need a vent because I'm allowed to go quite a distance here with the 3-inch pipe. I believe it's about 6 feet before I pick up my vent. And this is actually going to be a wet vent for the sink in the bathroom. So I really don't see a problem with this setup. However, now would be a good time to point out that you would need to check with your local building department to verify whether or not you could actually use any of the stuff I've designed here. And of course, that would count for the rest of the house also. So again, I like my nice straight shot with the clean out in case anything ever got trapped in here, clogged or blocked. And that is it for the rough plumbing. Let's go ahead and backfill all of our trenches here and make sure that you use an approved fill material. And even though you probably won't be able to get them nice and square like this, you'll be able to round them off somehow. And of course, our block out form for the bathtub drain. Make sure that you do not forget that. Our rebar for the footings. And in our example, we're going to be using 1/2 inch or number 4 rebar. And all of the splices need to be at least 20 inches long. However, you can make them a little longer. I like to make mine at least 22 inches. And we are using 20-foot rebar to minimize the breaks. You can use 10-foot stuff if you want to. It's not going to be a big deal. And of course, it just goes all the way around the footings. Splice again or lap, and it's usually about 3 or 4 inches from the top and 3 or 4 inches from the bottom. And again, I'm not trying to provide you with structural engineering information. You might need to contact an engineer for more information on the design of the building foundation. And we have number 4 rebar going in both directions, spaced 24 inches on center. So for example, this would be spaced 2 foot, 4 foot, 6 foot. This would be 2 foot, 4 foot, 6 foot. And of course, this can be spaced closer together also. For example, 16 inches on center is a common spacing for something like this. Now let's take a look at the other side. You can see here it's 24 inches all the way across except for this area here. Another view of it there. Here we had to move some of the rebar because of the tub box. So I just went ahead and put one on this side and then one on this side to make up for the pieces here that aren't connected. Close-up view of it there. Another view of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our anchor bolts. And we're going to be using 1/2 inch anchor bolts that are going to be about 14 inches long. You might be able to use smaller ones. Feel free to check with your local building authorities. And the maximum spacing on that is going to be 6 feet. They cannot be spaced more than 6 feet apart. And if you notice these two are spaced closer together, that's because there's going to be a framing plate break right here. You need to have an anchor bolt within 12 inches of the break. That's why there are 2 right here. And of course, at the corners they will be a little closer together also. Another view of everything there. At this end, you can see the anchor bolts are going all the way around. And after you have completed all of this, you can call for your inspection and pour your concrete. And then once it has dried, you can strip the forms and get ready for the next phase of your home building project, which will be our next video. And I will put a link here to that when it is completed.